So welcome back to the Candice Specialist Program webinar series. I would like to welcome my special guests today, who are Richard and Candice. Please join me, guys. Hello.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from us.
Good evening. Candice and Richard, of course, do work the latest shift for us, being all the way over Atlantic Canada. So I'll introduce the panel. We have Candice joining us from St. John's, from Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism. Candice, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, and we met last year, Candice, so the year's gone around.
I can't believe it's been a year. That's crazy.
Looking forward to catching up on all the latest news from you. And Richard, good to see you again too. I think last time I saw you was in Australia for Corroboree. So Richard is from Atlantic Tours. We're going to learn all about them. How are you, Richard?
I am great, and this is one of my favorite things to do, is show off our part of the world. So look forward to it.
We love it. We love you showing off your part of the world. And Richard joining us from Halifax, Nova Scotia today. So yes, it is late in the evening for them. So thank you both very much.
Anytime.
Okay, so as always, we have two short and sweet updates for you today, and then some live Q&A. So please do keep the comments and the questions and the emoji love coming. We love it. But as you can see, Candice is going to go first. She's going to introduce us to the region, and then Richard's going to take us on a bit of a tour. So it's a great combo today. Richard, we will see you in a bit. Cool. Okay, we are looking good. So welcome back, everybody, to the Canada Specialist Program webinar series. Candice from Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Hi, everyone. I'm Candice Walsh. I'm the International Market Development Specialist for Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism. I've lived in this province my whole life. I've traveled everywhere from the northern tip of Labrador, and I grew up on the south coast, so I know the province very well, and I absolutely love it here. I think it's super underrated, and I am really excited to share some of my favorite parts of it with you. So I'm going to give you a kind of a brief overview on some of our top 10 reasons to visit, some of our most iconic attractions, and then my friend Richard will do kind of a deeper dive into one of his incredible itineraries. So you'll learn about some of the iconic attractions that make Newfoundland and Labrador such a great bucket list destination, especially for anyone who is looking to get off the beaten path. So let's just dive right in. I think it helps first to know exactly where we are in North America. We're the easternmost province in Canada and part of the Atlantic Canada region right over here. We're made up of two parts. So Labrador is this part that's connected to Quebec on the mainland of Canada, and then Newfoundland here is the very large island. We're a big province, so Newfoundland and Labrador is just a little bit smaller than California, slightly bigger than Japan, and twice the size of the entire United Kingdom. We're going to start off with my favorite thing about this whole province. It's impossible not to be wowed by the spectacle of Iceberg Alley. Every year, the Labrador Current carries 10,000-year-old icebergs south from Greenland and the Canadian Arctic to the coast of Labrador and northeastern Newfoundland along Iceberg Alley. You can see them by boat, by coastal walking trails, even by kayak. So there's lots of ways to get close to them as safe as possible. They come in every shape and size. No two are alike. I've seen so many of them, and it's always something different each time. Icebergs are so plentiful around these parts that we actually put them to good use. So you can drink them straight like in iceberg water, or in spirits like vodka, gin, or rum. And of course, the ever popular iceberg beer from Kitty Bitty Brewery. We also have the world's largest concentration of humpback whales. So every year between 5,000 to 10,000 migrate from the Caribbean to the shores of Newfoundland and Labrador, staying in our waters from April to October, where they feed and frolic. They're very active and curious creatures, so it's not uncommon to see them breaching, slapping their tails, and even coming closer to the boat for a better look at you. And we have another 21 species of whales and dolphins also that visit, including the minke whale, sperm, pothead blue, and orca whales. We are home to some of the largest and most accessible seabird colonies in North America. So every year, more than 35 million seabirds gather here, including northern gannets, kittiwakes, meres, Atlantic puffins, like the one in this slide, hawks, osprey, falcons, and bald eagles. The puffin is actually a provincial bird, so there's more than 500,000 Atlantic puffins just at the Witless Bay Ecological Reserve alone, and there are other places around the province you can see them beside. They're really fun creatures. They're super goofy. They're really delightful. We also have nature viewing on a grand scale. So there are more than 120,000 moose in the entire province, and the population density in Grossmoor National Park is one of the highest in North America. We also have several roaming herds of caribou and some of the continent's biggest black bears. And in Northern Labrador, you can even find polar bears. While you're here, you should keep an eye out for lynx, rabbits, foxes, beavers, otters, and a whole lot more. You basically never know who you will encounter while you're on the road. We are home to vibrant culture, people, and experiences dating back thousands of years. So Newfoundland and Labrador is actually home to 3 distinct indigenous cultures, the Inuit and the Innu, which are based in Labrador, and the Mi'kmaq, which are on the island of Newfoundland. So you can learn all about the province's rich indigenous culture and history on immersive forest walks, boat tours, and also traditional food experiences. Our cultural influences are also really influenced by the Irish, English, and French. So we're the type of people who love folklore. We have a knack for storytelling, and we absolutely love traditional music. And because we've spent so much time isolated from the rest of the world over the past couple of centuries, we've taken all of these influences and adapted them into a culture that's very unique to us. For example, we have more varieties of English spoken here than anywhere else in the world. We are home to lots and lots of wide open spaces. So Newfoundland and Labrador is a big place. We have 29,000 kilometers of coastline, including nearly 10,000 kilometers of bays, breathtaking fjords, and inlets, not to mention inland rivers, lakes, and ponds. Newfoundland and Labrador is a perfect place for just getting out and exploring, breathing that fresh air. So we have 19 designated wilderness and ecological reserves. We have 4 national parks, and we also have nearly 300 different hiking and walking trails, many of them that are along the coast. And just 520,000 people live here, so there's more than enough room to breathe. We are home to 4 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So Grossmoor National Park is celebrated for its geology. This is where you can walk on the exposed Earth's mantle, which you'll see in this slide. This is the tablelands. The whole red mountains are actually the exposed Earth's mantle. Then we have L'Anse aux Meadows National Historic Site, which is on the northern tip of the Great Northern Peninsula. This is the only authenticated Viking settlement in North America. We also have Red Bay National Historic Site in the Labrador Straits. So this is a former 16th century Basque whaling station, and the oil that was rendered here was actually used to light the lamps of Europe. Our newest UNESCO World Heritage Site is Mistaken Point Ecological Reserve. This place is home to some of the oldest fossilized examples of complex multicellular life forms found anywhere on Earth. And yes, all of these imprints of fossils that you see here on the rock face, you can get up close to them after a little short hike. It's really, really special. We are home to world-class festivals and events. So have you ever celebrated a blueberry or an accordion, for example? Because we do that here. So Newfoundland and Labradorians are known. We know, there's a lot of things we're celebrating, and we certainly will find an excuse to throw a good party. Here we have year-round festivals and events in honor of music, food, fish, film, theater, crafts, you name it. This includes large music festivals like the Folk Festival in St. John's, the capital city, or right down to small-scale food festivals like the Roots, Rants, and Roars Festival in Elliston, or even Writers' Festivals in Grossmoor National Park. Speaking of seafood, Newfoundland and Labrador is a prime location for seafood lovers. So while cod is king around here, you'll also be treated to other seafood delights such as wild Atlantic salmon, mussels, lobster, crab, a whole lot more. You can find seafood at just about any restaurant, whether it's, you know, a high-end dining experience or a classic fish and chips in a really nice little pub. Often the best food experiences in Newfoundland and Labrador are served beyond the dinner table. So that can mean having a beach boil up with an open campfire, or a jigging experience where you use a hand line to fish for cod from a boat, for example. And finally, we are home to some really epic geology, billions of years worth of it, for example. This province boasts fossils and geological features not found anywhere else on the continent, from billion-year-old rocks to the first sign of multicellular life on Earth, and exposed pieces of the Earth's mantle. At Mistaken Point Ecological Reserve, you can view the first signs of life on Earth. It is beautifully preserved in the 565 million year old sea floors. You can learn about how the theory of tectonic plates was proven in Grossmore National Park, or you can visit one of the 10 geologically significant sites along the Discovery UNESCO Global Geopark on the Bonavista Peninsula. And that is it for me. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, I'm totally open to anything. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to learn a little bit more about my home. And yeah, thank you. Over to you, Charlie.
Candice, we love your home. So I'm trying to get my video back on. We love your home. It's absolutely stunning, absolutely fascinating. I mean, just look at that picture right there.